Hi everyone, welcome back. So let's keep doing the problem solving for the thermochemistry part. Okay, for this question, it already shows we know there's a change of the enthalpy for this reaction and produce that much of the kilojoule of the heat per mole of the lithium oxide. So we already find the relationship between the heat and the lithium, the mole of the lithium oxide. And we know the chemical reactions. And the question is asking what's the mass of the lithium should be reacted with extra oxygen. So it's extra oxygen, so we don't worry about oxygen in order to release that much of the heat. Okay, so this question is give us the heat. We need to calculate back how much mass of the lithium can produce that much of the heat. Okay, so when we do this problem, we need to actually uh, divide this into several steps. Okay, let me just write the path for you. It will be much more clear if we wrote the path. Okay, first, what we have is the heat. Okay, so we have the heat or the change of the enthalpy. The change of the enthalpy is negative 150 point kilojoule. Why is the negative sign? Because it shows it's a release the heat. So that's a negative. Okay, once we have the heat, then we're going to convert the heat to the mole of the lithium oxide. Why we convert that to mole of the lithium oxide? Because we know there is the relationship between the heat and the mole of the lithium oxide. So we can directly calculate that. So here that means if we have a negative 598.8 kilojoule of the heat and is about like a one mole of lithium oxide can produce. Okay, if we form 1 mole of the lithium oxide, we can produce that much of heat. Okay, this is relationship. Okay, once we have the mole of the lithium oxide, then what are we going to do? We're going to use the equation to solve the stoichiometry problem to figure out the mole of the lithium, right? And this is a stoichiometry. Stoichiometry. Okay, so stoichiometry. There's a mole of the lithium. Once we have the mole of the lithium, then what are we going to do? We're going to solve the gram of the lithium or the mass of lithium. And this, we're going to use the molar mass, right? Okay, so in general, we can use a really long equation to solve this problem. Okay, let's write a long fraction. Okay, this is a long fraction. First, we write what we have. What we have is a negative 150 point kilojoule of the heat, right? This is the question gave. We need to convert the heat to the mole of the lithium oxide. Okay, so now we know the relationship. In another word, we know the conversion factor between the heat and the mole of the lithium oxide. Okay, so we put the kilojoule on the bottom. Why? Because we want to cancel the kilojoule to get the mole of the lithium. So we put the mole of the lithium oxide on the top. We know 1 mole of the lithium oxide can produce negative 598.8 kilojoule of the heat. Okay, and then this is this step. The second step, we're based on the stoichiometry, we can figure out the mole of the lithium based on the mole of the lithium oxide. So based on this equation, we know 2 mole of the lithium 4 mole of the lithium can produce 2 mole of the lithium oxide, right? Okay, so this is the conversion factor, which is 2 mole of the lithium oxide can produce 4 mole of the lithium. Okay, so we put the mole of the lithium oxide on the bottom and got the mole of the lithium on the top because we're looking for the mole of the lithium. So we have a 2 mole of the lithium, we have a 4 mole of lithium oxide. Okay, so once we done this part, and this is this part, we already got the mole of the lithium. Okay, then the next part is we figure out the mole of the we already have the mole of the lithium. We figure out the mass of the lithium. Okay, so we put the mole of the lithium in the bottom, and we got the mass, which is gram of the lithium on the top. We know 1 mole of the lithium is equal to 6.94 gram of the lithium, which is the molar mass. Okay, so 1 mole of the lithium is equal to 6.94 gram of the lithium. Okay, and this is conversion factor. So let's see whether we can cancel all of the unit. The kilojoule cancel the kilojoule. The mole of the lithium oxide cancel mole of the lithium oxide. The mole of the lithium cancel mole of the lithium. Okay, then the gram of the lithium is what we need. Is the only unit we have. Okay, so when we put all the numbers into the calculator, then we can figure out what is the final answer for this. Okay, so 150 point negative times 4 times 6.94 divided by parenthesis 598.8 negative times 2 times 1 parenthesis as equal. So the number is 3.477, 3.477, 3.477 gram of the lithium. Okay, and then let's look at the unit. We have the sig fig. This is a 3 sig fig and a 4 sig fig. So final is a 3 sig fig. So that's gonna be a 3.48 gram of the lithium, and this is the final answer. Okay, I hope you got this right. Okay, and see you later. I'm glad you watch it, and see you later.